got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If you wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed 'em. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Ooh, look at that. Clutch holding up the, did it say Ascension 30 mile?
Yeah, it should
Ascension?
be 3 mile because we got 3 more games, right?
That's a beautiful can. A beautiful can of beer right there. Hi guys, welcome back to Broish. Why is my camera out of focus? Damn it. Why is it doing this?
Because it just
Hello?
Because we're on our 4th beer and the camera's been drinking with me all night.
I guess it has. I think it wants to look at your picture. That's what it wants to do. The new picture in the background. See it?
Yep.
See that? Right
just
there.
Me. Where are you at?
Right there. I'm there spitting it out.
Oh, because it's chopped off on this.
No. You'll see it on the broadcast.
Okay.
All right. I think I got myself in focus. Sweet. Welcome to another edition of Broish. Two brothers talking Notre Dame football and basketball. We're going to talk basketball and recruiting, anything Notre Dame. America's team, Notre Dame. Not Michigan. America's team is Notre Dame. Everyone knows that.
Not the Skunk Bears.
No, not Michigan.
Not the garbage. What's the other one? Dumps. Panda. Garbage Pandas. Is that what the other nickname they have? I can't think of what they're called.
All right. Lots to talk about this week. Notre Dame's on a bye week. So this coming weekend, they're playing Wake Forest, Notre Dame's last home game, right? It's like a makeup game, isn't it?
Senior Day, yep.
Senior Day makeup game, man. They were selling tickets for $50. You could get a $50 ticket at Notre Dame Stadium. Yeah.
For $52, you could get a ticket to Notre Dame Stadium and a big-ass 64-ounce beer from Linebacker. Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing too, is that like Big Ten, they started selling beers this year, and they actually have craft beers. They have at like Michigan or Spartan Stadium. They had Big Lake Brewery, and they had the little Sparty party because one of my former coworkers, it's a big Michigan State Spartan alum. He had a nice little Sparty party can.
Sparty party.
Yeah. So I wish Notre Dame would do that. That would be. I think there was talk of it, but I don't think it'll ever happen. All right. So
I don't see what the big deal is. I'll draw my drinking in the parking lot like I normally do.
Yeah, and then just have the hangover
your Jello
wear
shots.
Off. Yeah, just get sober in the stadium. Break somebody's leg like I did in the USC game. My bad. I'm sorry, lady. Remember that lady who had knee surgery and then I fell back on her? Yeah,
I did not. No. I don't remember that. Holy crap.
Not good. It was just you and I. We were we had the greatest seats in the world. Night game USC, and it was crap. It turned out to be crap. Anyways, let's get the show on the road. Obviously, all the talk this week, at least college football world, has been the suspension of Jim Harbaugh on Friday. There was a lot of lead up to it. I thought it was going to happen earlier, but there's some delay. They said they wanted the university to be able to respond to their letter. There was all kinds of news coming out that they were going to be suspended, and it was. And they let Michigan respond. Michigan actually asked for for that to be not postponed, but extended the deadline. So they gave, I think, an extra day, and then they had some legal terminology thing that they needed to get through, and then finally they responded, and the NCAA also responded as well, and suspended Jim Harbaugh for 3 games, pretty much the last 3 games of the season. And I believe Ann Arbor almost blew up. There was talk of leaving the Big Ten. There were men crying after the Penn State game. It was utter chaos. I mean, I don't understand why this team, knowing that they have cheated, and it's not like, hey, we're still trying to find evidence. Everyone knows the evidence. We've already been through this multiple times. Michigan cheated. Cheating is not stealing signs, because stealing signs, you can sit on the sideline and try to decipher what the sign is, or maybe you saw that sign, 20 minutes ago, and you were like, you know what? Hey, what? I'm gonna use that, or maybe you saw it on TV. But what these guys were doing, they had a whole vast network going across the country into this year that they were stealing signs. They had Connor Stallion was on the sidelines, and don't tell me he wasn't. He was on the sidelines of the Michigan State Central game up in Mount Pleasant, stealing signs. And Michigan's Jim Harbaugh also says he had no involvement in it, and he didn't know anything about it. And even the NCAA actually in their investigation told the Big Ten that they said, yeah, we don't believe that he's been involved in it. But that's bullshit, because there are shots on the sideline of Connor Stallions yelling out plays. Maybe he's just oblivious to the fact that like they're doing so well, and maybe he didn't know about it. I don't know. I mean, but a head coach not knowing what's going on in your program, that's a big deal. Like, I'm sorry, but you know what? You're to be held accountable for who's on your program doing what. And this kid was going around the country paying money for tickets, giving other people tickets or whatever to go inside and record these games, to have advanced knowledge recordings of games of opponents. It's sickening. I don't know. I mean, Clutch, what do you think? Is it a big deal, the sign stealing, to the extent that Michigan went at it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you go by the rules, I mean, some people don't think the rules should be applied anymore. There's a lot of rules in the NCAA that people don't think should be applied anymore. But if the rule is still there, then it should be upheld. And
right.
I think they're whining about two things. One, this, and two, because they got their back of their head slapped around at the beginning of the season as well, and they're pissed off about that.
But that was a self-imposed.
That's true.
Suspension. They didn't even get in trouble for that. That's the thing, is that they never got in trouble for that. Jim Harbaugh, the University of Michigan, took a self-imposed suspension for it.
Right, but it's still, the NCAA was, I think, was looking into it though at the time. So
they were, and then maybe they just took that suspension and say, "Hey, okay, you're self-imposing. Fine, we'll let you go to practice. We'll let you coach during the week, and then not show up to." Actually, was he? He wasn't on the sidelines for those games, was he? I don't know. He wasn't on.
Well, here's what I don't understand. They kept saying that Harbaugh has been banned from the sidelines, banned from the sidelines. The last time I checked, the booth isn't the sideline, is it?
No, it's not. And that wasn't in the letter. And some people on X were saying the same thing. They were saying, well, I mean, the booth's not the sideline. So, yeah. Apparently, he never got off the team bus when they arrived, but I think he was there. I think he was he was in the booth somewhere upstairs. I mean, he could still be at the game. He just can't be on the sideline.
Yeah, he might have just been tailgating for all we know. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, I mean, and then he goes on his weekly press conference, and he says that that Michigan is America's team because we deal with all this adversity, and we are just when it comes, when we get pressure on our shoulders, we just shake it off and like a true America's football team would. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I really don't know. Those are all made up words, by the way. But he did say America's team, and I think that is complete horseshit. That, like, why can't you just take the blame for something that everybody knows you did? Some people are saying that they should be preach the word. Yeah, yes. Exactly.
Yes.
So no, you should be able to. I don't know. A lot of people actually have said that Michigan should be banned from the college football playoffs this year. That because they were cheating into this year, that they should be banned from the playoffs. We don't know what's going to happen. The NCAA has not made a decision. The Big Ten has made a suspension based on what they know so far, and they said that things could come down the road as far as more suspensions or more penalties for Michigan. Who knows? All I know is that, like, I've never seen a university from the president on down basically like ignoring the fact that that they had cheated and they have done wrong in college football, and they're playing the victim. That is ridiculous. Playing the victim, like that kid playing the victim. Go pick up your toys. Come on. All right, we're going to get off that subject because we're not going to talk about this for 10 minutes straight. Michigan football does not deserve 10 minutes, but whatever.
Well, real quick, just let's segue into one real quick thing. We saw the interim head coach crying at the end of that Penn State game. USC also lost. Did we see Caleb Williams crying event again, or did he? I did not.
I don't know. I didn't watch that game.
I didn't either.
I did see the crying Michigan defensive coordinator, and I was just like, what was it? Did Jim Harbaugh die? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we saying as people when you're teaching other kids? There's kids that look up to that program. And what they're seeing are people that are playing victim when they are actually the person that were going out and committing all these terrible penalties or crimes, or not crimes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Nope, I get it. I don't know why.
Rule breakers. I hate rule breakers. Whatever. I mean, hell, everyone breaks the rules. So we can get to a long line of people that break rules, and that goes into our own government. So, anyways. Last thing we're going to talk about that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Notre Dame. There's obviously the bye week. There was a lot of talk about, the future. So I picked two articles out yesterday when I was looking around, and one of them being the fact that the Texas A&M coach, Jimbo Fisher, was fired. And that is going to create a domino effect in the college football world, maybe in the NFL, who knows. However, people are thinking that that Mike Elko, the old defensive coordinator under Brian Kelly, back in the day, so obviously is the head coach for Duke, and they're saying that there's a strong possibility that he might end up with that Texas A&M job. And if that happens, where does their quarterback Riley Leonard go? And a lot of talk is the fact that he might come to Notre Dame. I don't know. So does it come? So it comes down to this, Clutch. Does Notre Dame need a quarterback in the transfer portal? Are we going to keep doing this every year where we're not going to develop our quarterbacks? The next article I'm going to tell you about is the fact that, do we play Sam Hartman for these last two games? I know we're playing his alma mater or whatever, Wake Forest, but again, there is nothing left in the season, not even a New Year's Six bowl. They're going to play in some whatever bowl game, and it's not going to matter. So why are we not? Why wouldn't you develop your quarterback? Your quarterback, and the quarterbacks being PB&J,
peanut butter and jelly.
Yep, peanut butter and jelly, Agnelli or whatever, and then McGinty.
Well, a couple things. First off, Pete Sampson today tweeted that Marcus Freeman says Notre Dame will look to add a fourth scholarship quarterback this offseason. He says, we will look in the portal. And that was because he was asked this earlier in the year, and he said he'll make a decision by the second bye week, which is what's up now. So it looks like they will be. I'll answer that question, though. A couple things going on here. One, first question is, should they go in the transfer portal? My gut says no. But think about it. Peanut butter and jelly isn't Freeman's quarterback. That's Kelly's quarterback. And we all know that Kelly does not like to spend a lot of resources on recruiting, let alone on a damn quarterback. And two, Minchie, I think, was more of an emergency pickup because they didn't know what the hell they were going to do. I think if I remember right, they picked him up prior to Hartman. I may be wrong on that, but I think that was his way of, hey, we need to get some depth here, and depth quick. So now they're getting some depth. Hope I didn't lose you. You still there?
No, I'm still here. You got me?
Okay, your video, your video just cut out. That's okay. It'll be okay in the post production.
I'm good.
But yeah, so I'm. Yep, I can hear you. So I think that was his way of getting some depth, and now he's like, all right, so maybe we need. I don't know if I want to develop PB&J anymore, and maybe Minchie isn't really panning out. So let's get somebody in. To make sure pad that depth a little bit. They do have Carr coming in, so I don't know. The last thing I'd like to say is that a second article about whether or not they should keep playing Hartman. I don't think it's his decision all the way. I think the university is looming over him because what happens if they do lose another game? That means they get in a lesser bowl, which means they make less money, which means the overall administration is pissed because they're not making as much money as they could have been. So minimally, they need to get Hartman in there. And if he doesn't hold his own, pull him. Or pull him at halftime and let the other. I think there needs to be some kind of hybrid thing going on here where they ensure the win, but also, like with that, a second article is they need to develop their other two quarterbacks. Yeah. What was that? Was the longest damn pause? Jesus.
Because I was trying to put in a sound effect. It didn't come through, did it? Oh, because I haven't. See, man, I am so terrible at producing podcasts. I am terrible. The whole pause was meant for this. And it would have been great after you just said that, because to me, first of all, let me say this before anything. I keep mispronouncing names like a motherfucker on this podcast. Harry, I think I said Hillstan. It's actually Harry Highstan. And then I said McGinchy. It's actually Minchy. You had it correct, Clutch. So if I mispronounce names, I apologize, because I'm stupid. That's what it is. I'm stupid. Anyways, I understand the money portion of it, but Notre Dame doesn't need any more money. Okay, I mean they do, but again, are they going to really miss out on a few mil or whatever it is? No, I don't think so. But here's my thing: have you
ever known anybody? There's no one that's ever turned down money, though, Matt. I can't believe
I understand that. But when the ultimate goal, year in and year out for Notre Dame football, is the college football national championship, then you have to be able to get there. And if you don't have time to develop your quarterbacks in real live game situations, then what are you doing? Why do you even have a second or a second string quarterback? Why even have a third string quarterback? Because if you're not willing to put those players in the game, what they have in certain blowouts. But again, at this point in the season, when there's nothing to play for, there is nothing. You're not playing for anything. You're playing for next year. Next year being the fact that, like, the playoffs expand, there's going to be a 12-team playoff, right? So you're going to have to be well prepared, and you're going to have a quarterback that's going to take you there. Now it's either transfer portal. It's either the transfer portal, like Sam Hartman, but we saw how Sam Hartman worked out. So you think bringing in Riley Leonard is going to solve all our problems? That's bullshit. They have to start looking at getting an offensive coordinator now. Yep. And guess what? Who was just fired? There was a top offensive coordinator that was just fired because he lost the game.
Defensive. I know defensive coordinators were fired, but I didn't know any offensive.
No, there's an offensive coordinator. Who was the one? Oh, it was the Penn State. The Penn State offensive coordinator was fired. Pick his ass up. I don't care if he was just fired by Penn State. I think their offensives look pretty damn good. So pick up their offensive coordinator. Get somebody in here with experience. I know that Gerald Parker had experience, but he obviously didn't have enough. So again, if you're going to make a move for an offensive coordinator, you better start now. You better not wait until the end of after all the games are done to start looking for an offensive coordinator, because they're all going to be gone.
I agree 100% on what you're saying, but that's not how the mentality of a university thinks. They have short-term memories.
Well, we know this.
3 years you're out, 2 years you're out sometimes, and if you're trying to plan for that fourth or fifth year and you can't get enough traction in the first two, you're gone, man. So they just want the money now. We don't care. Do both. You need to get money for us at a bowl game and develop those quarterbacks. So
no, you're spot on. A boss will ask for anything and everything, right? And one thing you're saying is correct, that they can care less. Look, get your job done and make the college football playoffs and win a national championship. We don't care about developing quarterbacks. We want money, so we want to go to a bowl game too. But the thing is that they proved that they're all about money and the fact that they're tightwads, because they had a chance last year to get a great offensive coordinator and they had to settle for their tight end coach. Come on.
You know what? They need to hire me. I was coach of Notre Dame for one season in Retro Bowl College, and I won the national championship. Just saying.
Right there. I don't know. I mean, you probably have enough experience as Gerald Parker does. So
probably,
there you go.
Probably.
Congratulations. All right. Let's. We got about.
What else? What else we got, Matt? Throw some more shit at me.
Let's talk about I'm gonna say this for later, and it's actually about this podcast and the growth of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But let's get back into in a little bit Notre Dame as far as the basketball world is concerned. The basketball team played, what is it, Western Carolina? What are they called? The Western Carolina Catamounts, and they lost 71-61, 10-point loss. So here's my deal. If anybody watched this game, Clutch, you said you watched the highlights. A lot of young players.
Highlights.
They have a lot of young players, and and Coach Shrewsbury loves playing all his young players. They're a good group of freshmen. I'm not kidding you. Like Kerry Booth had 3-3-pointers in the last 5 minutes in a stretch in a row, and which I thought was unbelievable. These guys are. I don't think I've ever seen a group of freshmen play the way that they do. They play like they're playing street ball. They really do. And sometimes that can be bad because there's a lot of turnovers. You don't really have offensive sets. You're not passing the ball a lot because sometimes you're a little selfish and you take it to the hole, and a lot of things like that. Both Notre Dame games that I've watched this year, the only 2 games that I've watched, I've seen them get down by multiple points in the first half, and they've come back, and they've actually made strong comebacks. First game, they made a strong comeback and won, and then against who they play, Niagara, and then obviously against the Western Carolina, they tried to come back, but again, they proved that they couldn't. And that's, I think, based on the fact that they don't have any experience. They don't have any real senior leadership on this team. Clutch, what do you think is going to happen with this team throughout the year? How do you think they're going to grow? And what do you think about their street ball mentality that I think it's kind of street ballish? I mean, maybe it's not, but it kind of looks like it.
I think it's kind of, I like it because it's fresh. Notre Dame hasn't had that street ball mentality. It's been very rudimentary and all during Bray's tenure in terms of following his gameplay and usually work the ball around. What we used to have, the Bray burn, that was him to burn the clock,
right,
where he'd come down, pass the ball 8,000 times and then shoot a 3. So it's refreshing. Now, I would like to see some of their games a little bit tighter and not lose to a small school like this. They're going to, like you said before the show, they're going to get their ass handed to them by Auburn this week. But I don't know. It's I like it. I like it. Now, who's the little guy again? The guy from Penn?
Yeah, Burton.
Burton, I saw him take the ball and just dribble around big man and then lay it up. Like, he was probably, believe it or not, and again, I guess we'll have to wait and see when we see like the big boys come into town and play, when they play some of the teams in ACC. But he takes it down low like that and can take it right to the hole. And I'm actually impressed with that. He's probably one of the more aggressive guards they've had in a while.
So they have a group of guys here that play significant minutes. One being the coach's son, Braden Shrewsbury. Was that Roper? Or no, that wasn't Roper. That's 0. Who's that? Kerry Booth. Yeah, that's the guy that shot the 3 threes. I like his play. I like number 13, Tay Davis. Tay Davis, I don't know if is he a freshman? Tay Davis being a sophomore, so he must be a transfer from maybe Penn State. Did he come over from Penn State? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, one of them did.
I thought maybe, I don't know.
That's Burton there.
And so I like Tay Davis. He played 22 minutes. He only had 5 points, 4 rebounds and assists, but he played well. Shrewsbury, the coach's son, played 36 minutes and didn't score a point. Julian Roper, which is, I believe Julian Roper is, he's not a freshman. He's a junior from that came over, transfer. And I forget where he played at though. Where'd he play at? See, it doesn't say on ESPN. Doesn't say there. I forget where he played at. Anyways, he came over. Julian Roper is a great guard, but very guard heavy. Marcus Burton being the freshman. Logan Imes being another guard. These guards, Kerry Booth. He's probably the only big guy that Notre Dame is playing as a power forward, 6'10" freshman.
Yeah.
But they got. Listen, I'm not kidding you. Shrewsbury is a hell of a recruiter. He's bringing in another top class. I think he probably just did. I think they just talked about it. Let me just look this up. But I have hopes for this team. Obviously, it's a rebuild. It's obvious a rebuild, but it's exciting to see a rebuild when you have a bunch of players that just want to play good. They want to play and aggressive. Yeah, and the coach is aggressive too. Have you seen any of his? You got any pictures of him on the sideline yelling? I mean, he gets excited in these games.
Well, they've only played 2 games, and the one we were talking about was that first game where he was just like blowing up, and I don't know why he was getting so pumped up, because it was I wouldn't say shitty team, but it was a lesser opponent, and they struggled to get by him, and he got up there and he was like, yeah, like they just won like the first round of the NCAA tournament or something. So, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, look, I found a page where it says Notre Dame's all-time commits. You want to know who's the number one all-time commit in Notre Dame?
All time? What do you mean all time?
All time, like Notre Dame commits when they first started ranking basketball players. So yeah, probably going back from the last probably 10, 15, 20 years.
He's the highest ever recruit.
Yeah, which he doesn't play there anymore.
Oh, it's got to be Murphy.
JJ Starling.
Really?
Highest recruit ever. Yeah. And then second, Demetrius Jackson from Mishawaka.
What about Murphy? Troy Murphy, baby.
Troy Murphy is not even, well, they maybe didn't have the, I'm trying to see here. No, maybe they didn't start doing rankings when Murphy was around. Luke Herring.
He didn't play in the 1970s. He played the 2000s, and they don't have any rankings? No. Come on. Troy fucking Murphy, baby.
Pat Connaughton is 20th.
What about Chris, little Chris Quinn? Not Chris Quinn, the other Chris.
Yeah,
the albino black guy. Chris.
Chris Thomas?
Thomas, yeah.
No, he's not on. No, because I think this is too early.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see these guys.
Yeah. What site are you on?
Maybe. This is Irish Illustrated.
These guys are younger than we are. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, Bonzi Colson.
They weren't even born yet when Troy Murphy was playing for them.
Chris Doherty. Zach
How high of a recruit was Troy motherfucking Murphy?
I will say this though. Notre Dame's got some good recruits on so far. I don't know. Let's see. That's 2023.
Georgetown he played for Georgetown.
All right, 2024. So they just signed 3 recruits this past week. One being Sir Mohammed. He has a 93 rating, one of the highest ratings ever for getting there. Well, maybe he'll make the list. Cole Serta, he has a 91 rating, and Garrett Sundra has an 88 rating. So a small forward, a shooting guard, and a power forward, 6'10", 6'4", and 6'7". So this Sir Muhammad is supposed to be pretty damn good. He comes from North Carolina. So, hey, you know what? I hope he does bring in different players. I want to see different players. I think you agree that some of those players that came in that Bray recruited weren't the best,
No.
and didn't prove out to be the best or whatever. But some were. I mean, he had a great 2015 season, and 2016 season. They made the Elite Eight. Bray did a fine job, but I think it was time for a change. All right, less than a minute here left, and I just wanted to read you an email. I got an email this week. This email is from Luke Campanella. He says, first of all, right off the bat, hey, Broish. Not even my name, but he says, hey, Broish. My name is Luke. I'm a member of the team at signupexpert.com, the premier sports betting assist tool on the market. We're a huge fan of your show. Okay, Luke. Huge fan. Okay. I would hope to find some time next week. I would love to find some time next week to chat about advertising opportunities that we believe you and your brand would be perfect for. If you're interested in connecting, let me know your availability. We can sit down and look at a calendar. Anyways, Luke, if you're a big fan of the show, then you're watching right now, email me. email me after you've watched the show. Email me. I'll contact you. So if you can prove to me that you're a big fan of the show, contact me tomorrow, and I will sit down and I will have a meeting with you. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this. I mean, I think he's real, but I mean, I think this just.
Well, I don't like their site because for a Canadian site, they don't have any betting on what the best maple syrup is.
Yeah, that's
a
crap.
dad joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, he probably
Sorry.
drinks Labatt's, man. I mean,
No,
maybe doesn't drink it all.
Molson Bador, because you can't get it here in the States anymore.
Oh, what's the percentage on that?
I don't know. It's in metric units, and I don't know what that is.
Ugh.
I don't know what the ABV in metric units is. It's different in Canada.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our show,
It's
but
alcohol by liter or something like that.
Yeah, they're weird. Anyways, come to the end of the show, but we have not talked about predictions for the Wake Forest game. Clutch, what's your prediction? The Wake Forest.
I think they're going to return to what they did at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I think we're going to probably go 41-17 Notre Dame.
All right. Wake Forest, just to give you an idea of what kind of team they are this year without Sam Hartman. Well, God, see, screw you, Google. Just give me the record. They won't give me the damn record. Should hit Wake Forest and it should go right to their games or right to their site. Standings. There we go. All right. Wake Forest is a whopping 1-6 in the conference. They're a whopping 4-6 overall, 3-3 at home, 1-3 on the road, and they've lost 3 in a row. So I'm assuming that they suck without Hartman. They weren't really that good to begin with Hartman. So I mean, they were fine.
What's their record right now?
4-6.
Okay.
4-6. So let's see. They lost. They got pounded by NC State last weekend. Duke beat them only by 3. So let's see. No, I'm sorry. Florida State. They got their ass handed to them. Virginia Tech killed them. They beat Pittsburgh. They beat. They didn't. I'm sorry. Yeah, they beat Pittsburgh, and then they lost to Clemson. I can't see any significant games here that they've won. So yeah, I agree. Actually, I think Notre Dame's going to go over 50 because this is senior day, and I think that Notre Dame plays well on senior day. I think this is probably, sadly, sad to say, but Audric Estime's last game in Notre Dame Stadium, which is sucks because he's going to be a top draft choice, and I don't think he's going to stick around for another year.
Well, did you read? Hold on a second. I know we're going long, but the end of that article that you sent me that was about whether or not Notre Dame should play Hartman again. They had another article that was released today about who's leaving, and he rattled off a ton of people. One name he didn't rattle off was Joe Alt. So,
well, yeah, Joe Alt would be a junior, right?
Yep, he's a junior. So Chris Tyree, which I can't believe he's got any more eligibility, but apparently he does.
He's got he probably got that COVID year. So he's technically he's a senior. He's probably got the COVID year still.
Xavier Watts, Cam Hart, Howard Cross III, Riley Mills, Nano Osafo-Mensah, Jordan Botello, Zeke Carroll, JD Bertrand, and Jack Kaiser. And Maris Liafu. Those are all people that they're looking. Now, I don't know if he rattled those off as potentials. Sure. It doesn't really say specifically, but then somebody said, no, then he said, or somebody said, are you going to mention Freeman said, are you going to mention Joe Alt? He jokingly said, and he said, you know something I don't know? Alt is leaving. So I think he was just, I don't know if he was just rattling. That was in the middle of his press conference today. So I don't know if that was he was just puking out everybody that had the potential to leave, and no one's actually committed yet that they're leaving. So
well, I'll say this. Notre Dame's defense is going to be hurting next year unless there's no way that they're losing that many defensive players Riley Mills, JD Bertrand, Jack Kaiser, the one guy with the long name that I don't know is pretty decent. The Hawaiian guy, what's his name? Leofau. All these guys, I'm scared that I'm going to mispronounce all these names. So anyways, all these guys, great defensive players, all starters, obviously. Next guy in, I don't know. That's the thing, is that like, what's the depth look like on any of those positions? Because Notre Dame might be in a position next year where they're going to be hurting on defense,
right?
And offense. I don't really have. They might not. What do you think next year? Do you think Notre Dame is going to be a top 25 team next year?
Coming out of the off season.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about them right now and how the struggles that they have right now, and they have a really good defense.
Yeah,
their offense is obviously suspect, but talk about next year. Next year, they're losing a lot of guys.
I'll admit this, and I don't know if any other Notre Dame fan would, but Notre Dame gets a lot of hype coming out of the offseason. So add that hype upswing coming out of the summer, and that'll bump them up to wherever they finish. So if they win out, maybe they win the bowl game against a somewhat reputable opponent other than Tulane or James Madison.
Well, and here's the thing, is that we always sit there and complain to about like teams like Michigan who actually played their first tough opponent this last weekend in Penn State, and they won. Good job, Michigan. They won. Okay, I'll give you that. But the fact is,
fuck Michigan.
Yeah, fuck them. But they haven't played anybody leading up to that game. That's why everyone was like, really, I don't know what you're talking about with Michigan being great, because I don't know, they haven't played anybody. So when I think those thoughts, and I'm like, why isn't Notre Dame doing that? Why don't we play nobody? Why don't we just not play anybody? We still get hype for it, and we end up undefeated. We're still in the talk because we're undefeated. So our first game right off the bat next year at Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M will have a brand new coach, so they may not be in a position to play hard, but still, you're scheduling at Texas A&M first game, just like last year when they played Ohio State at Ohio State.
You just set this up. Notre Dame with Riley Leonard at quarterback playing against his old coach from Duke at Texas A&M right off the bat. Isn't that's a college game day right there? Right
there. Well, it could happen. But then you got to look down. So they play, was that Northern Illinois University? They play at Purdue. We're back to playing Purdue. So I like that. I love playing Purdue. I don't know why, but I just like having that in-state rivalry. I wish they would play Indiana again, I always love those games, those in-state rivalries. Plus that's, the college that our dad went to, and he'll never admit that he probably was a fan. And then Miami of Ohio, Louisville again. They need to win that game. And Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State next year, and they could be tough. Virginia and USC. So not crazy tough, depending on how these teams play next year. I don't know. Maybe we'll see other ones kind of pop up, and like USC, they might be tough. Oh, they probably will be tough. They're losing their boy, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think we're just getting too far ahead of ourselves. Next week, I believe that Wake Forest will end up losing to Notre Dame by a score of 56-7. That's my prediction. 56-7. The seniors go off. Hartman will play, sadly, but he will. But PB&J will get some time in the second half. A lot of time. I think that he's going to have a lot of time in the second half. I just think he will. And then off to Stanford for our final game. So, Clutch, anything for Alexa to end this podcast?
Yes. I'm going to say, hey, Alexa, add a lot of backup quarterback play in the last 3 games to my shopping list.
Minchie.
I've put a lot of backup quarterback play in the last 3 games on your shopping list.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Hey, as always, Clutch, thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. Whoever's listening out there to this fabulous podcast of Bro-ish.
We know who's listening. He wrote us.
What's his name? Luke. Thanks for listening, man. I didn't know you were a fan. Well, reach
Luke.
out to me. We'll schedule that. Reach out to me again because I lost your email. Reach out to me and
Luke,
we'll,
I am your father.
You're not my father, and I don't know what the hell you're up to. But give me a call. Maybe we'll talk. Go Irish.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. They wanna